So I recently read a stat that something like less than 5% of golfers can break 80 or have ever broken 80. And it actually isn't that shocking for me to read that stat, considering this is the first round of the year that I have shot in the 70s, and I've been actively working at my game. But this actually got me thinking, and I wanted to show all you down that lens what it really looks like for your average, pretty decent good golfer to break 80 and shoot in the 70s. And we're going to go through my round, talk about some of the things I do well, but also highlight some of the areas that I could probably improve upon and show you what it really looks like to shoot in the 70s. And we're going to be playing at my coach's course in Canto 18 out here in Phoenix, Arizona, playing from the tips. And at the tips, it roughly ranges, I think, 6,500 yards. And the slope rating or the score rating for this course is 70, which means that a scratch golfer should shoot about even par around here. And off the tee, right away, I put myself into a bit of a tough position because the wind is blowing pretty hard, as you can hear in the video. But getting back into position, even on a par 5, is super crucial. And the first thing I do pretty well here is I've got a pretty good wedge shot into this green, and I absolutely hit it on the number. And working on wedges is something that is super important in being able to hit wedge distances if you plan on being able to control your score. Just going to call it out. I am playing my buddies here for money during this round. There were 2 putts that were given to me throughout this video. Don't be at me in the comments. I'm not going to count these. That's a bogey for me off the first hole. Now, one of the things that I do rely on is my driver, right? I have a little bit more speed than the average amateur. I cruise at around 112, 113, which means that I'm able to poke the ball out there a pretty far distance, which makes the wedge game that much more important. I think it was Ben Hogan that was quoted as saying, if you can't putt, you can't score, but if you can't drive, you can't play. It's so important to set yourself up off of the tee to get yourself into a scoring opportunity. And on one of the short 4s, I was able to make a birdie here. And one of the foundations of, breaking 80 is ball striking. I don't care what your swing looks like. I don't care how funky your takeaway is. You've got to be able to get the club on the back of the ball in a functional delivery, because if you can't control your ball flight, that you're going to just put yourself in too many positions where it's difficult to get up and down. And on here, we've got a 195-yard par 3 that's probably playing 205, 210 into wind. I hit 4 hybrid. And I'm able to get this thing up to the front center of the green. There's a lot of areas on this par 3 because of how the greens are sloped that you really just don't want to be. And having control over where you miss is probably more important than being able to hit the exact shot you're looking for. Being over this green, to the left of this green, to the right of this green could easily bring a double into play. You're going to hit bad drives, as I'm demonstrating here. But what is most important is that you have good face control, that your bad drives aren't out of bounds. Now, granted, on this course, it's not really like them and hit it out of bounds, but it's just an important thing. And it's okay. You're going to make mistakes. I absolutely duffed this chip, like just left it fat and left it short, and had a putt uphill that I just hit way too hard. And one of the things about scoring well is that you're going to do things that seem silly and frustrating and stupid in the moment, but you just have to be able to lock in, control your emotions, and find a way to limit your mistakes. And I walk out of here with a bogey in a position that I probably should have made par from, if not had a look at birdie. Another thing that you have to accept is the scoring mentality of there is a such thing as a good bogey. This is, again, a 195-yard par 3. It's a little bit into wind. It's a very tough target to hit. It is okay to miss this green in a spot that's appropriate and then try to do your best to get up and down. I did obviously a little bit, again, of not the best job of getting it, as close to the hole as I would have liked. But on a hole of this length, PGA Tour is averaging over par. It is okay for you as a regular golfer to have a long, challenging par 3 and get out of there with a bogey. It's a good thing. It's nothing to beat yourself up about. You should be okay with that. And on this par 4, I didn't hit the best of drives, but again, my worst misses are still in play. This one's a little bit right, but I was never bringing out of bound into question. Obviously not in a good position to attack the green, but you're going to hit bad shots. It's okay. Hit this one relatively well, but it's just a little bit further right than where I was trying to aim. That's the rough interacting with the club face. And again, I want to talk about the mentality. I can tell just looking at this that I am getting frustrated. Like I'm on tilt. I'm making bogey after bogey, and you just have to stay in the zone and not let yourself lose sight of the fact that you're just playing golf. Mistakes are going to happen. On the next tee, I had myself a little bit of a pep talk, recollected, hit an absolutely beautiful iron shot into this par 3, dead center of the green, which is exactly where I was aiming. And we get up here, we got ourselves a pretty long putt, but I go ahead and lock in and do my best to try to lag this bad boy up to the hole and get out of this hole with the par. And again, demonstrating this is probably about a 30, 35 foot putt. Your lag putting has to be good, right? Most amateurs are 3 putting from 30 plus feet. You just have to really work on pace control and being able to lag putt because you're just not going to hit them all close. Again, leaning into my strengths, which is the driver. It's a club in the bag that I hit very well. Like, you just got to lean into your strengths. I tried to go for this par 5 and 2, dumped my 5 wood. But again, I'm not getting frustrated. I'm staying posed on it. It only went about 150, 160 yards, but it's dead straight. Like, take your licks. Got a full 7-iron into this green, and I was trying to chop it up out of this wind and almost hit this thing a bit too far right and missed the green. But fortunately, I was able to get it there a little bit deeper than I was expecting. And again, we're getting back to this point. Got another 30-plus foot putt. Lag putting is something that you have to work on if you intend to shoot low scores. You are going to have many putts in the 30 to 40 foot range. It just happens. And the better you are at lag putting, the easier it'll be to have easy 2-putt tap-ins.
Oh, that'll run forever. That'll run forever.
Can I just take a moment to gripe about how much I can't stand when I'm playing with like a random person in a group and like they're narrating everything my ball is doing as if I don't have eyes? Like, let me know in the comment sections below. Am I just being too hard on myself? But as I'm editing this video, like this dude is literally talking about every shot as if like I can't see what the ball is doing. This is one of the weakest parts of my game, bunker play. I've just got to get better at this. But I mean, like, if you're in the bunker, getting it on the green is the if you get it out of the bunker, you're doing pretty darn good. But for my skill level, I'd like to be getting my bunker shots a lot closer. And I make the turn at 3 over. Obviously, there's a few holes there where I'd have liked to avoid a few bogeys. But as you can see, I'm not really doing anything super fantastic or amazing. Just keeping the ball in play, hitting it off the tee very well. You know, capitalizing when I have a wedge in hand, and a lot of really good lag putting and a lot of really good short putts that I'm dropping as well too. Lean into your strengths and play away from your weaknesses. I am obviously a pretty decent driver of the golf ball. I intentionally hit this shot every single time to the left of the green because it gives me the ability to have a chip shot that I am comfortable with. I never challenge this bunker that's to the right because, again, bunker play is not my strong suit. So in the scoring well, there's going to be course setup and opportunities that suit your game. Play to where you do best.
For money, I'd make you put a 3-footer.
Go. Go.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, great shot.
Thank you.
Nice shot.
And while I am a decent driver of the golf ball, my swing is far from perfect. I still struggle with early extension, and it gets me into troubles with 3 woods off of the deck because when you early extend into a 3 wood off the deck, you tend to push it or overcut it. But I manage my misses because I know where the ball is going to go, and that's another important part about scoring well. You have to really know what your misses are. If you're a person that tends to turn the ball left or right to left or left to right, you just have to appropriately plan for where you're going to miss and make sure you aim away from the trouble. I've spent a lot of times on this hole accidentally hitting the ball in the street over there, and it's not fun losing golf balls. Perfect example, on this hole, my body lines are aimed so far left because right OB is in play if I happen to early extend really badly and push one. You just have to play away from the trouble and play smartly. Took a little bit too much off of a wedge here and ended up leaving it short, but again, it's not the worst miss in the world to a front side pin. I think I would want to be more disciplined with trying to hit a shot that's going to get at least 2 hole high and beyond. That's just good core strategy. And here, you have to have fun with it. I'm laughing because Encanto greens, as you can see, are like 3 to 4% slope, and sometimes it's just comical, the putts that you have to hit in order to hold them. This is a great example of what not to do. Stick with your strategy and play your game. I am trying to draw a 4 hybrid into a 220 plus hole, and I pull it long and leave it in a spot that you just do not want to be, which is why my buddy who I'm playing against for money is laughing and just saying, you're just giving me money on this hole. Fortunately, my wedge game is on fuego. Almost hold this one out and literally hit it to about like 2 inches. This is something that you're probably not going to want to hear, but sometimes golf requires luck. There's that early extension that I talk about and that huge flare right. If this had happened on the par 5 or the par 4 before this, that ball would have been in the street, without a doubt. Fortunately, I got away with it because this particular hole, you can miss it this far right. And now I've got myself a little fun shot between 2 trees, and I don't actually think this is a risky shot because 1, it goes with my shot shape. 2, if I overcut it, which I did, it's going to end up in a spot that's okay for me to miss it. So I think this was actually a pretty smart but brave shot for me to take on, and I pulled it off to perfection.
A little too much fade, but it was through it.
Mistakes happen. Caught this one a little bit chunky, but I just move on and focus on the next shot and try to get this ball as close as possible to the hole to give myself a chance of eliminating that big mistake, which is again making doubles. And here we give ourselves a pretty good look at saving bogey.
That's 5. Yeah.
In case any of y'all are wondering why it's weird that I like reached into the cup and called out my score, that's just a habit from tournaments because after you hole out, you're supposed to call out your score so that, you know, nobody's in question of what your score was.
Yeah, it's a little leaky over there. I just hoping I don't get blocked out by anything.
Got a bit unlucky with this shot, ended up blocked out, chipped it right back to the center of the fairway. What I did not know is that this area of the fairway was going to be all burnt out and dug out to the desert, and I had an absolutely atrocious lie. Accept it for what it is. Tried to do my best to just kind of squeeze it down and like make sure I got solid contact, and I did. I haven't called this out in the video, but I also want to take note that my inside of 6 feet putting is really good. Starting the ball on line is so important when you're putting, and you're going to just have a lot of putts that are 5, 6, and 4 feet. You just got to really get good with making those.
Tim, am I behind the box?
Oh, you're good. Yeah, you're good right there.
We'll tell you after. Piss you off too?
3-shot penalty on T-box?
We'll tell you after you hit, Cam.
Okay, gotcha.
I kept this in here to demonstrate that it's okay to have fun with your buddies, but you have to be committed and focus on your process. Once the joking is done, I get behind the box and I start my process. I am zoned in. I don't hear these people talking. I don't hear them bickering. I am focused on my target and executing.
Yes, sir.
Fuck off.
And this just comes from playing tournament after tournament and learning that you have got to be committed to your process if you plan on playing good golf.
Oh, that's got to go.
Get there. Get there.
Damn, I misread that.
And this is where having trust in your stroke and your confidence to make these testy, 4 and 5 footers really comes into play.
Nice, good play.
Oh, that's a 4. It's par.
Nice shot.
And this is a part of my game I've worked on really well when I get to like that 18th hole, the last couple of holes, and I know I'm playing well. Just staying committed, staying focused, and trusting that, I've got what it takes to get it done. We are playing a money game here, so there is a little bit of pressure on it because I just don't like to lose and I want to have bragging rights. I thought I hit this shot with the right target, but I think I was just a little bit too far left and left myself in not too bad of a position, but just chipped this one up short, and I've got to make this putt to win the match, so let's see how it goes.
Nice, fine.
And there you have it. That's how you shoot around in the 70s. Was able to make that clutch putt to win some money off of my buddies. And putting yourself in pressure situations is exactly how you get better at golf. Test your game, put yourself in a place where you're gonna feel the pressure on yourself and be able to have to get up and down and do what you got to do. I'm super excited. My game is trending in the right direction. I'm definitely moving and feeling a lot more confident. I certainly feel like I've got the skill that it takes to get out there and stay competitive and win some tournaments. So we will see how it goes. Thank you all very much for watching my YouTube channel. Deuces, people. Let's keep it moving.